Oh, that intro really hit me in the feels. Being an Ultima Online veteran, I really, really loved the music in Ultima Online, and that just gave me goosebumps. So hopefully it did for you too. Today we're going to be looking at a new game called Legends of Aria, and it's for the most part a remake, a spiritual successor to Ultima Online. For those of you that have tried Shrouds of Avatar, which is actually authored and developed by the original Ultima developer, Richard Garriott, you'll probably feel that the game is nothing like Ultima Online, and you would be 100% correct. I was an early pledger and adopter of Shroud of the Avatar, and unfortunately it has basically become a hodgepodge of random features that have been shoehorned into a game which really lacks any soul. So this game, Legends of Aria, aims to do it quite differently. This is really the Ultima Online 2 that we have long been waiting for. Now it is still in the alpha stage and it has a lot of growing to do. However, it still is the only game out there that really feels like Ultima Online, especially in terms of combat. Now, that's not to say that there isn't a lot that needs to be done for this game to be successful, but I have played a lot of UO clones. I've played a lot of UO private shards, and this to me is the true successor to Ultima Online. All right, well, here we are in Legends of Aria. Just to give you a high-level overview of the game, I'm going to be as comprehensive as possible in a short period of time, so just keep in mind that I'm really just going to scrape the surface of what you can do in this game, and hopefully you guys get a feel of this game and how it's similar to UO. So the first thing that probably is very obvious is that the game is isometric, so you have that omniscient view just like you had in UO. Now, if you can also use the mouse wheel to scroll in and see the textures and see the items and even people up close that may be underneath a roof, like this carpenter, for example. Now, I've started in the home city. If I hit M, it'll open up my map. The home city of Eldier Village. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it. Not great at that kind of thing. Might have butchered it. But this is where you start. And if you type in the stuck command, which if I go down here and do /stuck, it will always bring me back here to this home city. So that's an important thing to note. There is currently not anything known as recall. Like you had in UO, you could mark a rune at any point on the map and then recall to it. They don't have that yet in this game. The closest thing to it is the stuck command. You can, however, bind your soul to certain stones throughout the world and then open up a portal to it. However, that does require a very high level of manifestation skill. So we'll start talking about these skills now, just because I'm sure that's what everyone is most curious about. How is this game like UO? Well, it is like UO in that you have 600 total skill points that you can apply to different skills. Now in UO it was a total of 700 points, and that's how people would create 7x GMs, which basically means 700 points, 700 total points applied to 7 unique skills that were all Grandmaster, and Grandmaster was the equivalent of 100 skill points. Okay, so a 7x GM means 700 skill points applied to 7 different skills. So in this game it's 6x, so you could be a 6x GM, and you'll notice that the skill names are really not the same as they were in UO. Let's start off with evocation. So evocation is what was called magery in UO. Evocation is all direct damage spells, so fireballs, energy bolts, that type of thing would be evocation. Manifestation is healing, opening up a portal, support type spells. Now, when you click on a particular skill, you can set it as a favorite, so it goes to the top of the list. You can also track or untrack skills. So if I untrack a skill, it won't appear up here anymore. If I track it again, it will.
Thank you.
You can also just drop a skill to 0 to free up more of your points for your maximum value. I will not do that since I use Manifestation. But if I was to scroll down to another skill, well, it's already set to 0, and I was to drag this down to 0 and hit apply, it would then free up those points. My maximum, or my value here would go down. Okay, so I'm just going to sort of scrape the surface on these skills, because you could get into the Discord channel for Legends of Aria, and you could ask people about the complexities of each of these skills and how they work with each other. I'm not going to know nearly enough to explain that, but real quickly, healing is what you think it is. For those UO vets, you have bandages, and you can apply bandages to yourself in order to heal yourself as you are moving. So that's a very crucial ability, especially for fighters, warriors that don't have any magery, or in this game, manifestation or evocation. Okay, we'll go back to skills. That's the K key by default. Magic affinity, it's basically meditation. So in UO, you would meditate to regain your mana more quickly. Same type of thing in this game, except you have to equip, and that for me is a stave, and it is F4. You have to equip the stave, and then you'll see down here, focus is an ability that you use to meditate. I'm already at peace because I have full mana. Okay, we'll jump back in. So manifestation. I'll do an example manifestation skill. Shroud, or I'm sorry, cloak, is effectively invisibility from UO. All right, and you see now I'm invisible for a certain amount of time. If I move, I break that invisibility. So very similar to UO. Now, if I get off my horse really quickly, and I was to use this stealth ability, it's the equivalent of hiding. So hiding would be as if you just stand still, and then stealth is then moving around. Of course, my hiding ability is 0 because I'm a mage. I didn't really train up hiding and stealth, which are two separate abilities. That would total 200 skill points. But you can absolutely create a hiding stealth character. This was just released in the latest patch. So I could sit here forever and try to get hiding to work, but it might take quite some time for that to happen. So I'll just stop by getting on my horse. I don't want to attack it, so I will toggle out of that and mount my horse. You can see that the dies on my paper doll, for whatever reason, vanished. They need to fix that bug, obviously. But here's your paper doll, and we already talked about strength, agility, and intelligence, and how it sort of equates to your health, stamina, and mana. But you can dye clothing just like in UO. If I go down here to my backpack, it'll allow me to open up my backpack. I can zoom in, zoom out, and if I click on this character window C, it'll open up my paper doll. So very similar to UO in that respect. We'll go back to some of the skills by hitting K. Let's see. So slashing, that would be like swordsmanship in UO. Vigor is sort of like tactics, and dueling is sort of advanced, what I would say advanced weapon skill usage. So really quickly, I'm going to hit F1, which is my bound key for my Halberd. And you'll see, if I hit K again, that my dueling ability here is what gives me the follow-through special ability of the Halberd. I believe that if I did not have any dueling skill, so if I dropped this down to 0, that I could still hit with my Halberd, which is slashing, and Vigor, which is my damage modifier, kind of like tactics in UO. But without dueling, I don't believe that I would have these two primary and secondary weapon skill abilities. So they sort of made it a little bit more complex in UO. So you're not just equipping a weapon and running up to somebody and just letting it, mindlessly swing at them. You can also go into a dueling skill tree and add even more variation. Like in this example for the Halberd, I could either do a concuss stab, which would do weapon damage 35%, but also reduce their mana by 25% for 15 seconds. So that might be good against a mage in a duel. Follow through is just a base 50%, which might be good against really anybody, but especially a warrior. Okay, so we've covered dueling, vigor, which is just the base amount of damage you deal with any kind of weapon, slashing, which is like swordsmanship with my halberd or my katana, which is over here. F3 is bound to katana. Spacebar is how you go in and out of war mode and peace. You have to toggle PvP mode down here in order to attack a player character. And there are guards in this city, so if I was to attack this character over here, Brado, who's looks to be using the carpentry table, guards would instantly come and whack me and kill me, and then players probably would be able to loot my body because I would no longer be blue, I would be gray or marked as a criminal. So the notoriety system, the fame system, there's all elements of that in this game, but they're not completely wired up. The basic mechanics of attacking someone within a guard zone, it will, it does work just like UO. You will get killed if you're in guard zone and you do something criminal. There is not stealing yet in the game, although they have added hiding and stealth, so I imagine stealing will be added at some point. Let's see, so channeling. Channeling is different. So in this game, channeling is kind of like wrestling in UO. Remember, if you were a mage and you had high wrestling, it would prevent people from being able to interrupt your spell casting. It's sort of like channeling in this game, although channeling is not working the way it's supposed to, which is why I basically set it to 0. Someone with no channeling at all or 100 channeling can still be interrupted by a novice warrior or mage. So not useful yet, but eventually it'll be like wrestling from UO. It's more of, it's really just for mages being able to cast those spells without being interrupted. All right, let's see. I believe we have covered just about everything. So as you can tell, my character is a warrior slash mage. It's a swordsmanship mage, or a halberd mage as it was known in Ultima Online a long time ago. So I think I've probably talked about this to death, but let me go a little bit more into the inventory. So I have a reagent pouch here, and in this game currently there's only 4 reagents. There's ginseng, moss, mushrooms, and lemongrass. Now you probably remember from UO there was black pearl, garlic, spider silk, ginseng, sulfur ash, I think, and what is the last one? I always forget. Mandrake root, of course. So they've simplified it. There's only 4 reagents. They may change it. They may add more, but you still need reagents to cast magical spells. So I really like that. Definitely gives you the feeling of UO. There's also bandages in my pack. You do have to eat. If you don't eat, you start to starve. You see now I'm contented. And when you starve, you lose all of your health regeneration, your base health regeneration. So it's always important to eat food and not enter a starving state. So let's look at this marketplace a little bit closer. So here's a trader. You can talk to the trader. You have to get a little bit closer. And there's all these different options here. We'll just go through one real quick. Train me in a skill. So if I wanted to learn cooking, I could pay the trader here a certain amount of money, and he would teach me about 30 points in cooking. I'm not going to do that just because I've already got a character built out pretty much. But that's how you gain skills quickly. You walk into the marketplace in town, you talk to someone, and you say, train me in a skill, or I need something, which might be the prompt. And then you just you get 30 points in that skill for a certain amount of money. If you want to buy something, you could zoom in with your mouse wheel like this to see what's on the table, or as you learn what's on the table, you just left click on it and you tell them how much of it you want to buy, hit accept. They tell you that 10 bread's going to cost 70 copper, you confirm, and if you have gold on you, it'll add it to your backpack. If not, it'll say, what are you trying to do? You don't have any money. Okay? And if you walk up to crates, it's the same idea. You just left click on it and you buy it. Right click will close any one of these windows. Left click usually will open it, or alt left click. Okay, and so you can buy a cooking pot. You can buy some items to put in the cooking pot. In fact, I will try to show you a little bit how you get a campfire created. So I will go to, oops, casting a spell. I'll open my paper doll, and I'm going to equip my axe for lumberjacking. And I'm going to walk up to a tree. I'm going to left click on myself, alt left click, dismount. And you'll see down here, Q, I have a lumberjacking skill that I can use on this tree. So the great thing about this game is you don't have to spam the Q button. It'll just cut down the tree entirely, and then whatever wood you get from that tree is completely based on your skill in lumberjacking. So I have like 4 lumberjacking skills, so I might be lucky to get 1 wood out of this. Looks like I have already harvested 1 wood, which is great. I think I need a minimum of 4 wood to build a campfire. And then once you've built a campfire, you can then cook any meat that you have. Or if you bought vegetables from the trader, you can make a stew. So I will hit Q again and work on this tree. I'm just trying to get enough wood to create a campfire. And as you can see, my lumberjack skill is skyrocketing from 0. I'm sure that once the game goes live, you won't gain skills quite so quickly. It is alpha, so they don't want to put such a huge penalty on players. They want players to be able to really test the mechanics of the game. All right, so I'm going to stop chopping wood and come over here. Let me type all follow me, just like in UO, so my horse follows me. And we'll just go right here in town. I'm going to left alt click on the wood, prepare a campfire, and there we go, we have a campfire. I'll get back on my horse. A weird bug with the dies not applying when you mount your horse. And if, let's say I was to have, let's say I did have something on me to cook, I would just left click on it, and there would be an option to cook. And you would cook until you succeed, basically. And it's the same sort of thing. If you have 0 cooking, you're going to fail on a lot of the ingredients until you get a nice piece of stew or meat. And eating is really important in this game. You have to stay well fed. Okay, so that was just a quick demo of how you can chop wood, how you can make a campfire just like in UO. I'll get rid of the wood. Let's go over to the Tailor. So the Tailor is the same sort of thing. You can talk to the Tailor saying, I need something, and train me in a skill. And they'll teach you fabrication, which is basically tailoring. And with that, you can pick up cotton throughout the world, and you can make bandages like this out of cotton. You can also create bandanas, mage robes, which I'm already wearing, bone even. So fabrication is basically tailoring, but also you can create a bedroll, and bedrolls are nice to have because it lets you bind to the bedroll, bind to the bedroll. So whenever you cast that portal spell, you'll jump right to that bedroll. All right, so over here at the Alchemist, same sort of thing. You just left click on the item, and it lets you purchase. If you find any of these crates on the side, if you click on them, you can buy it straight from the crate. Now, these blueprints are how you actually place a home in the world, and I'll show you my home in the world. Most of them can be pretty expensive, but there is a starting one, I think, for like 1 gold. Yeah, 1 gold, 80 silver. So fairly easy to get that much money in the game. You just have to fight some monsters and do some quests. So let's go up to the mage shop real quick since I'm a mage. You just go up the hill here and inside this building. And here you have all of your reagents. So if I open up my bag, you'll notice that I already have quite a few. Usually you start with like 50 of each, but I have about 90 of each. So they have about 1,000 of each here at all times, so you can just come in here and pick up your reagents. I believe the blacksmith is on the opposite side of where we entered. So if I was to cross the marketplace here and go up in this direction, you have the blacksmith, and this is where you can craft items, buy items. You know, you just walk up to the anvil, and there you have it. You can create weapons, you can create outfits, tools, hatchet, mining pick for gathering resources, and then at the current moment, not a lot of furnishings, but so you would get a mining pick. You would go find a place to mine from a mountain. Like this right here is a vein. You would mine this vein and then take the ore back here to smelt the ore, and those ore would turn into ingots, and from those ingots use the mantle to create weapons. So just like UO, really. All right, so we've seen the mage shop, the blacksmith, the marketplace. I'm going to take you out to my house. So I just went out through the gate. You might get lost at first, but if you use the map and you figure where you came from, here's the village, and I'm on the right road here. If you look at the mini map in the upper right hand corner, you see how there's a left road and a right road. So I'm here on the right road. There's going to be a fork. I can go either right or left. In this case, since my house is here along the left road, I'm going to run in this direction because I want to be on the left road. Okay, and since I do have a house, this blue arrow will direct me straight to my home. If you're in a group, the blue arrow will direct you to your group mates within your group. So we're going to pass this arena. You could talk to the sorcerer or the war master here about prestige talents. We may get into that later, but basically prestige is the end game or the high level. Once you've maxed your character out or have an idea of what your character is going to be, you can get a prestige talent, which gives you, I believe, 3 extra abilities or skills. I think abilities on top of the your 600 point allocation. So this is my my house. You click on the sign just like in UO. You can decorate by targeting different items, and then you see my robe is now targeted. I can spin it, move it around, increase the movement speed. I can lock down things, release things, change the name of my house if I want to, change the locks on my house. So really all the same functionality you might expect from a game like Ultima Online. Here's a bedroll in my house. I can bind to this, so if I open up a portal, it'll come right to my house. I've locked down some chests that have items in them, and I can unlock and lock these chests. Okay, here's my little store. People can walk up to it, open it, click on the items. This says it's 8 silver. It's just like any other vendor. And if I walk over to my vendor, after a few days, and I say I wish to collect my money, they will tell you how much money that they have collected. They get a 10% cut. It looks like I haven't sold anything since the last time I talked to the vendor or to the merchant. Okay, so that's a quick demo of housing. I bought that blueprint from the carpenter in town. I placed this house. I went and I got a merchant from town and set up shop. So people just run by and they go, oh, I need a shield. Open up the bag and looks like someone already bought all my shields. So that's just a quick demo of housing. a quick demo of opening or creating a merchant and having a store. You'll notice all along the main road people have these merchants. There's another player that just ran by. Okay, so I jumped ahead a bit and I took us to a camp to show you some combat. Now remember, I am basically a swords mage, or in this game it's called a slashing evocation manifestation healer guy. So I'm a hybrid, definitely a hybrid. You probably noticed. Oh, let me go ahead and drop these skills down to 0. Don't need that to interfere with my build. And let's go ahead and drop channeling too, because it doesn't do anything, but eventually will. And I'll need to rethink my entire build. So healing is a skill that I have. You'll notice that I have a total of 7 skills out of 600. So it's going to be difficult for me to to have a 100 skill points in any of my 7. I'll have to be pretty creative since my build is a hybrid. I think that if you went with the typical builds that they're suggesting with prestige scrolls, you would have 5 total skills that equate to a prestige, like being a knight, being a gladiator, being a field mage, or being a sorcerer. And then you get some extra abilities with that. Now, I'm building a hybrid character that is very much like the Halberd mage of old UO. So I need the ability to cast spells to heal myself, to bandage myself, to cast magical offensive spells, and also hit with a halberd. So that's the build that I'm trying to create, and I've already spoken to the lead developers at Legends of Aria, and they said that hybrids have to be viable in order for this game to succeed. So I'm very hopeful that my build not only works because I'm about to demo it, but stays functional as the game releases on Steam at some point. Okay, so let me go over my basic mechanics. My hotkeys are on the left, and they start off just 1 through 9, I think, or maybe it's 1 through 0. And you can bind your spells to these to the hotkeys 1 through 9 or 1 through 0. Over here on the right, you can bind your keys to the F1 keys. So F1 through F8 or F9, I'm not even sure. But if you hit escape, you can go into controls and go into keyboard, and you can change or remap any of these things to keyboard keys, to numbers, to numbers on the num locket. You can remap any of these hotbar slots, as they're called. Looks like there's a total of 30 right now. So when you drag a weapon skill or a spell into these hotbars, just keep in mind that you're not tied to what is there by default. You can always just go into controls, go to keyboard, and remap it to any key on your keyboard that you want. Under mouse, definitely want to look at this and make sure that you either don't or do want to enable auto target. Me personally, I like being able to tab through all the targets that are around me. So if I hit tab, I'll go into war mode. If I hit tab, that allows me to jump to the wolf, to jump to the lich, to jump to whatever is around me, and then I have the option to attack it. I like that. It gives me greater control over the last target that I've selected, the next target I'm going to select, etc., etc. But auto-targeting is nice. Basically, I think once you've attacked something, all of your spells will then go to that target. That's great, I think, for PvE, but in PvP, when you're switching targets from yourself to ally to an enemy, auto-target, at least my understanding of it, is not going to be what you want to use, okay? So, what sequence am I going to use? The sequence for attacking liches, or to do a mana dump, is really Rock Bombardment, which is the equivalent to Explosion in UO. So it's something that you cast, and it's a delayed attack that hits the target in a few seconds. And then Energy Bolt. We all know what Energy Bolt does. It's just a direct damage spell. So they did nerf Evocation a little bit. At least that's my understanding. So I can't just cast Rock Bombardment, which is Explosion, and Energy Bolt, which is Energy Bolt, and then expect to kill the Lich with just those two spells. I then have to either finish them off with a Fireball or a Lightning Bolt, or I can swing my Halberd and hopefully hit them with my Halberd. And so I'm going to show you that. Let's start off with a very simple combination. I'm going to pre-cast Lightning. That's right, pre-casting exists in a game other than Ultima Online. I can then equip my Halberd, and then if I go down here, you'll see Q is follow-through. So since it's flashing, it means that it will swing and use this follow-through ability. I just need to get close enough to the wolf. All right, so I'm going to get close to the wolf. It swung. If I back away and I click, it will then cast the Lightning Bolt. All right, so now that my spell has targeted the wolf, no matter what spell I cast, we'll do another Lightning Bolt. If I hit the T key, which is last target, it will hit the last target. Okay? Now, there's nothing really to do. I can't really loot the wolf corpse because there's nothing on it. Oop, I cast a fireball on it. But I will hit F4 to equip my stave, and then focus, which allows my mana to regenerate faster. It's meditation. It's meditation from UO, except it requires the stave in your hand, which I guess I understand it, but yeah, it's just a little bit different. So now I'm going to show you a more complete combination. It's going to be Rock Bombardment. I'm going to open with Rock Bombardment, and if I stay out of range of the Lich just a little bit, I'm not sure actually where the Lich went, so we'll go to the entrance here. You see how my precast spell is set to this cursor, so I can run around freely. Alright, so there's a Lich. If I'm out of the casting range, it'll say not in range, but my target's already set, which means I can hit the T key, which is my last target hotkey. So I'm going to run in range, hit T, run out of range. Okay, you see how that Rock Bombardment was cast, but then hit the Lich a little bit later? So I'm going to run out of distance. I'm going to hit E, which is Rock Bombardment again, and then I'm going to equip my Halberd, hit Q, and then I'm going to hit Tab when I get close to the Lich. Alright, I missed. I'm going to run away and hit T, which casts another Rock Bombardment. Now I'm going to hit F2, which is Bandage, hit G, which is Self, and so now I'm healing myself as I'm running. And I'm going to run up and try to get that follow through to proc. Didn't proc, run back away, get out of spell range, run back in. And you notice that my bandages didn't work, so I'll hit F2 again, G to target myself. And if I walk up and I just left click the corpse, here the Lich has 3 silver, 33 copper. I can just drag it on myself, or if I want to put it into the bag, I can do it like that too. And you see how my bandage healed me. I could be running around while it's healing me. I could be casting other spells while it's healing me. So very nice to be able to do that. Okay, so let's try a real combo. Rock Bombardment. I'll target him. I'll target that Lich. So now I just have to hit T to last target. Run in rage. Hit T, run out of range, hit Energy Bolt, equip the Halberd, hit Q, and I'm going to get hit pretty hard. So I will start healing. I'm going to hit V, which is Greater Heal, G, target myself. Then I'm going to pre-cast Rock Bombardment again, equip, hit Q, and Tab. Now I'm going to hit T. Oof, that hurt. So I'm going to go ahead and heal myself up. Hit F4 to equip my stave and focus. I failed to focus. Try again. Failed to focus. Okay, whatever. So this time I'm going to just do an Energy Bolt. Equip. Oh, I equipped too quickly and it fizzled my spell. So do another energy bolt, wait for the cursor, now equip, hit Q for follow through, target the Lich, miss, miss, uh-oh, cast the energy bolt, run away, run away. So I'm going to heal myself while at the same time casting a manifestation greater heal. So I'm actually healing myself twice here. One's a long-term duration, one's a short-term duration. Ah, I got him with my follow-through. And so then I switch over to stave and I can heal. So the reason this build's really nice is that I can move in and out of melee combat and magical combat, and I can just keep going. Right now my magical affinity is kind of low, so I'm not able to focus and regain mana as fast as possible. But since I'm wearing mage robes, my base skill of 53.9 magical affinity gives me a good amount of magical regeneration just because, by default. I don't even have to focus. When I do successfully focus, a sort of green something spins around me. There you go. And then this really kicks in the mana regeneration to hyperdrive or whatever. So I really want to get off one decent Rock Bombardment Energy Bolt combo. Here we go. Equip. Ah, I keep missing. Missed again. And there we go. And I fizzled. All right. So just like you, all right. So I did a bandage. Now I'm doing a heal. I'm going to do another heal. Okay. I'm going to do an energy bolt. Equip the Halberd. Hit Q. Hit tab. Missed again. 45 damage. That's pretty strong and a lot like UO. So I'm going to heal myself again with the bandage. Now let's just roll into the next attack, and hopefully I can show off this combo. I'm trying to show you the Halberd Mage combo. I can easily show you a Mage only combo, but it's not quite as interesting as this build. And there you go. So it was fairly straightforward. I mean, when it works very well. It was a Rock Bombardment delay. I precasted Energy Bolt. I equipped my Halberd and I hit follow through, ran up to the Lich. Follow through hit at about the same time as the Rock Bombardment rock dropped it. And then I hit last target on Energy Bolt. That entire combination did about 95 damage, which will kill just about any Lich, and possibly any player. All right, so yeah, you can definitely play as a Halberd Mage. You can switch over to a Katana as well, which has a bleed damage over time, which can also be very good. I will switch this up a little bit though. Just because I want to be able to cast poison. And let me go into my spell book. I don't think I even showed you my spell book. I want to be able to cast poison. So we'll put poison over here as F8. Uh-oh. I'm being attacked. Ow, ow, ow. Alright, so I'll bandage, cast my greater heal, and I could even precast my greater heal just to show you guys. I'm going to run up to the Lich like this, whack him, and then I can target myself. You see how I healed myself? We'll do a Rock Bombardment, cast it on him, Energy Bolt, run in for a last target. That worked pretty well too. So you can absolutely play this game as a Halberd Mage. It does work. I think players are going to be quite different than a Lich that's just standing there outside of magical range, but I think you get a pretty good idea. Now the other combination I can use as a slashing mage is I can use Bleed, which is a damage over time spell, with Poison, which is another damage over time spell. This is another good tactic, but I think it's better against players. Here's a player right here. I think it's better against players because I, I think that it would interrupt them from what they're doing, also confuse them and force them to cure themselves. So we're going to try it as soon as I find a Lich to kill, or how about a brown bear? All right, so I'm going to cast poison, target the brown bear, F3, and then bleed is now up. Okay, so now there's two different things that have stacked. There's bleed and poison that's slowly killing the brown bear. I don't even really need to get close to the brown bear, and the brown bear is gonna die from both poisoning and bleeding. Okay, you know, I can hit him again with the katana. Now against a Lich, this may not work quite as well. Well, let's try it. I'll precast poison, or no, I'll precast poison, equip and load up bleed, run in, swing, and poison. And I will now bandage myself because that's going to hit me. Greater heal, target myself. Okay. Oh, now I have to cure myself because I'm poisoned. And I healed myself. Oh, here's the Lich. So we'll try this one again. So that's F8. Load up the katana with bleed. So you can do a hit and run tactic that way too. But I would probably just not even finish up with rock bombardment, but finish up with an energy bolt. So it's another tactic. I still think that if you're fighting a group of players and you both do bleed and poison on the same target, that those things would stack and it would be really hard for them to stay alive. But at the same time, if you're all by yourself, it's a completely different strategy. If I'm all by myself, whoa, and I attack this Lich, it makes more sense for me to do an energy bolt rock bombardment combination. Oof. Or does it? Ow. So I'm going to heal myself and then cure myself. Greater heal, target myself. Greater heal, target myself. I'm going to load up a lightning and hit the Lich with the lightning. Now load up an energy bolt. Katana, bleed. Oh, I fizzled. Oh man, I fizzled a lightning bolt. That's hard to do. There we go. So, you know, I'm probably not demoing this in the best way possible. There's other people that are much better than me at this. But the fact that I was able to play this game relatively quickly and figure out that the combat dynamics are very similar to UO. Are they perfect? Definitely not. I mean, just looking at the spell book, you know, there are not a lot of spells. You know, I couldn't even remember how many. I think there were 8 circles of spells in UO, and there must have been, I'm not even sure, 80 different spells. So there's not a lot of options right now. This is still alpha, so I mean, it's not going to be difficult for them to add new things. But you'll notice there aren't any summoning spells yet. That was really a cool part of UO, being able to summon creatures, magical entities, water elementals, that kind of thing. Stone golems, I think. So they will add these things as they progress. But for right now, it's fairly straightforward, the combat. I was just wondering if there's anything else I wanted to show you. Oh, potions. Yeah, so you can absolutely drink potions as you fight too. You typically don't need them against NPC characters, but you know, against players, you certainly will need to be able to drink potions. I do want to show the Repel spell. So Repel is kind of like reactive armor, maybe sort of like spell reflection, but not really. There isn't yet a spell that will truly reflect the spell back at the caster unless you use a prestige scroll and go that route. So a hybrid like me probably will never have spell reflection unless they change how prestige works. So I just want to show the true Mage combination that I recommend is used, and that would be this Rock Bombardment, Energy Bolt, run in, and then finish off with Lightning. So that was a quick 3-spell combination: Rock Bombardment, Energy Bolt, and Lightning. You could also use Fireball, but I find Lightning to be better. And then Focus. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to demo Stuck. So you just type Stuck, and within 15 seconds, if you don't move, it'll shoot you back to the home village, which is a good way to get out of a situation if you're way off in the world and you have no idea where you are and you're totally lost. Stuck will get you back home. Okay, and here we are back in the village that we started in. Okay, so I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to show, and I think that might be it for now. I'll probably do another video and show you what's changed or what's new. I would like to show you a dungeon crawl at some point. That would be a really, really cool thing to show you, and I might do it with a group of people later. But hopefully this gives you an idea of what this game can be, and hopefully you enjoyed the video and will consider this game when it hits Steam. I'll just create a guild real quick. We'll call it Stimwalt Studios. Shameless self-promotion. Enter, and my tag will be SS. There you go. And now I have my guild tag. And you can go in, if you go back into your paper doll again, go to titles, you can select different titles, and I'll just do the title of Guildmaster. So you can absolutely have guilds, you can form groups. There is group looting as well that splits the gold as you fight. And again, definitely go to the Legends of Aria Discord channel, because you will learn so much more from that channel than you will from this video. But yeah, I hope you had a good time, and hopefully this game reminded you of Ultima Online, because I think that this is it. This is really Ultima Online 2.